Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are in the book of Isaiah, and we are in chapters 19 and 20. Remember now, we're going through these different parts of the world, yet the judgment in the end on the day of the Lord is against all four corners of the earth. Now here we have the confusion of Egypt, and it is not the great army empire, but it is a great religious center for the occult. And the shrines, the pyramids, etc., are used to this very day for ceremony and conjuring the spirits. This is one of the twin sisters of the outpouring of the mystery school of Babylon. All right, so here is the judgment on Egypt. But keep in mind that as these sections of the world get the micro look at those, there is going to be a macro look at the whole earth as we progress here in Isaiah, because this judgment is not just on any one section, and there is no section of the world left out in judgment, okay? And by judgment, I mean the separating between the wheat and the chaff. So there's no place on earth that there isn't good also. But here we are in chapter 19 in the book of Isaiah, and we have in verse 1 the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So when we're talking about these idols, we're talking about everything from something that sits on a desk all the way to the old megalith pyramids. All right? And they're going to melt at his presence. This particular prophecy comes right in swinging. Day of the Lord, here I am. Down go all the idols. All right? And part of that is the fact that it is just one big center for the occult, and it always has been. Don't get me wrong. Some of the pharaohs got chastised and got a little sense, like during the time of Joseph, but the occultism never went away, and the priests of Satan never left. So you go inside the pyramid, it is not a tomb. It is not a tomb. It contains the Pythagorean theorem, okay? And when the astrology gets directly above those pyramids, it will be on an occult holiday, okay? It just will be. The summer solstice, the winter solstice, the equinox, etc. The astrology will line up with the idol, the pyramid. So you have the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and the divine child's chamber. It represents, to make a long story short, now there's many teachings that come out of that wedge, okay? But the main teaching is that the Antichrist spirit will be brought back again. It will be reincarnated, if I may say that, into the Antichrist. Okay? So that's the gist of so many of these occult ceremonies. All right? So with that in mind, too, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, how many times have we seen this prophecy about the last days when Christ returns? It's everywhere. Even in the middle of the Battle of Armageddon. Now notice here in 3 what we're attacking here, what the Lord is attacking. The spirit of Egypt, okay? That's that Antichrist spirit. That's Satan's spirit that is really infesting the world today. All right, in 3, here we go. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. Okay? So there you just got a big, huge part of the occult. And here it's right in the middle of Egypt, like it has always been. Okay? And when Christ is coming here, they go back to their occultism, and it isn't going to do them any good at all. This has happened more than once, but this is a huge happening here. Huge. Nothing like it ever again on the day of the Lord. In 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. Okay. Now, what's that? What's that? Well, that's a description of the Antichrist ruling over these people, and that's not going to be fun for anyone. If anybody thinks that that's going to be a big party there when the Antichrist is out of the closet, you got another think coming. All right? Because this dude who's infested with Satan, it has a familiar spirit, right? And it's Satan's spirit, is going to be brutal. He's going to be brutal to all of us, folks. 5. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. That's a big deal. These people worship the rivers. They worship the reed. Why do you think they put a reed in Jesus Christ's hand, like a staff, when they were mocking him? They worship this reed, okay? Because it's part of their marsh, swamp, worship of the Nile, okay? So, anyway, they're going to lose their water, and they believe their spirits, their gods, little g, plural, come out of those waters. 6, it says, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. So there we go. There is going to be a severe, horrible drought on these people that worship the River Nile gods, plural. 7, the paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. Okay, so whenever you have the delta land, the river rises, it deposits all kinds of fertile silt for growing there. And see, that's all going to stop. Now, this one here really hurts in 8, being a fisherman, because this isn't just going to be Egypt. So, in 8, this will happen in more places than just Egypt. All right? But However, we're looking for the new river that flows out from under the throne of God, and there'll be good fishing out there for you anglers. But in this is judgment against people that fish. In 8, it says, the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. See, that this was a big part of their income, the fishing. Life itself was contained in that water. Okay, to grow, to drink, but they would have their ceremonies and worship the gods of the river. Now you see, that which you worship will be used against you, pagan, out here. So there's that. 9, it says, moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded. 10, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and fish in ponds for fish. Okay, so that's another thing. You divert water over into tanks and you raise fish, and it's for profit, okay, for food, etc. All right, so all this is a great judgment on Egypt. All right, now in 11 we have a new paragraph, and this Zoan is is a suburb there, part of Egypt. And new paragraph in 11. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings. Okay, so that's another thing. They have skulls of these pharaohs. And folks, it's not human. Even King Tut, look at his skull one time. Huge, big forehead. I mean, it's not natural. It's part fallen angel, folks. Anybody can research what I'm saying. They have these elite princes or pharaohs or whatever you want to call them. They're on display in these museums more and more now today. All right. And Egypt is no different. Many of them got slain, interesting enough, with a hole in their forehead. Okay? So these skulls are on display. So here they are saying they're of the ancients. Well, that's pre-flood, folks. That's the Nephilim. That's the fallen angels. That's the Rephaim. And these people, through their familiar spirit, push their way right into leadership. Okay, enough on that in 12. These ancient kings, where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt. All right, see, they're going to run with their tail, because this is not what they've been telling Pharaoh. This is not what they've been saying. They've been saying, we're going to take over the universe. We got our leader here. Remember now, the Antichrist has been ruling them, but that doesn't change anything. Listen, these creatures, these wise men, these pharaohs, they had 2 rows of teeth, and many of them had 6 fingers and 6 toes. Now, that's archaeology, folks. Much. The majority of it's been hidden, but there's plenty of it out here for anyone who wants to look at it. And they're going to be cast down. That mixing of the flesh is an abomination to God, and he's going to wipe it out. 13, the princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that art the stay of the tribes thereof. So you see, these sorcerers, these so-called wise men, and they're wise in the occult, yes they are. They're deceiving people, and that is true. Even when they don't have your destruction in mind, they are always deceiving people. That is their energy that makes it go. They believe to bring people up degree by degree. If you're in some organization that has degrees in it, you better start worrying, because it comes out of these old mystery schools. So there's people that get froze, and they never learn another thing. Okay? So what I'm telling you, these people believe in deceiving the masses. They don't believe in any truth. They believe in exalting themselves. The only thing they respect is someone that has more occult power than they do. All right? And they've been lying to the people of Egypt. Okay. It's such a terrible spirit. Listen to this in 14. The Lord's caused it to happen. Listen to this. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Well, that's a ugly similitude. But here is this spirit, and the Lord has caused it to happen. And they love their occult energy, and this is the fruit of it. And notice this similitude of the drunken man staggering in his vomit. How ghastly. But that's what the Lord says about them in this prophecy. 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So there we are. You are now stalled out, folks, in all your endeavors there in Egypt. 16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear, because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. All right, what is this shaking of the hand? That means I'm declaring war. See, when that term Shakespeare means war. And here, whether you're shaking the hand or a spear, it still means war. This is Jesus Christ declaring war on Egypt, and they are afraid. That's what this says. In 17, and the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Every one that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he hath determined against it. Okay, Judah, that's the tribe that Jesus Christ comes from. So many times when you see that, that's referring right back to the legitimate seed of Christ, the seed of Abraham. Not just DNA, no, but spiritual seed. And here the tribe is Judah, okay? And that's Jesus Christ's tribe. 18, new paragraph. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan, and swear to the Lord of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. Okay, there's a prophecy about changing the language. Remember the prophecy we just had earlier about destroying the language of Egypt? And I said, well, that's because much of the occult doctrine, see, they have a written doctrine, is written in that language. Now, here's a direct prophecy. and the city of destruction. Okay. In 19, in that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. Now, this is part of these highways that are going to run to, so people can come to the Feast of Tabernacles. And here's this, and this is prophesied not just here. There's going to be this altar and this pillar, and people are going to be coming there to the Feast of Tabernacles. Remember, there is a remnant of the Egyptians that will, if they haven't learned at this point, they will learn to fear the Lord and to love Jesus Christ, and they will be grafted in. The Bible's clear about that he will call them his people in the last days when all things are fulfilled. 20. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt, for they shall cry unto the Lord because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a Savior, and a great one, capital O, capital S on the Savior, and he shall deliver them. Okay, see the attitude adjustment. I'm not talking about the Nephilim leader here, the one with his 2 rows of teeth and his gigantic skull. That's not who we're talking about. We're talking about the remnant here. And they'll see the things happening in the world, and they're going to start to cry to Jesus Christ. And they're going to be delivered here. They're going to be reading their doctrine, learning who their real Messiah is, and learning what the whole violence in the world is leading to. And what it's leading to is peace on earth. And they're going to learn that here. Look here, it says, the great one, and he shall deliver them, like he will the rest of the people in the world. 21, and the Lord shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know the Lord in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Lord and perform it. See, they are going to take up the law of Moses here in 21. Okay, that's what that is. In fact, the law of Moses is going to be going on there in the New Jerusalem. That's going to be a reminder of how we got there. No longer will the sacrifice be to cleanse sin or to have a similitude of Christ on the cross and how we are going to get to the utopia through God. No. It's going to be a reminder, a history. And here the Egyptians are going to be doing it like the Levites are going to be doing it there in God's tabernacle in the New Jerusalem. Okay? All this is plainly taught in prophecies. 22, and the Lord shall smite Egypt. He shall smite and heal it, and they shall return even to the Lord. And he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. See, there's a remnant there, folks. There's no one DNA, not one occult empire where everyone's going to get wiped out. That just is not the Bible. That is not what it says. There's no bad guys. The people in Iran have Christians. Do we know that? That there is a great church of people that's in Iran? But yet I go out here to the evangelical and they say, hey, let's go bomb those pagans. Right? Hey, there is a remnant there, and there's a remnant here in Egypt. 23 paragraph. In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come to Egypt, and the Egyptian and into Assyria, and the Egyptian shall serve with the Assyrians. 24, in that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land. 25, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. Okay? So as you can see here, he's going to knock the fire out of the world, and he's going to set up this kingdom, this utopia, for all the saints. It's going to be wonderful, folks. So I got this short chapter now, this chapter 20. It's involving two of the great countries that we were just talking about in these last chapters. It's Egypt and Ethiopia. So here we are, chapter 20, verse 1. In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon, the king of Assyria, sent him, and fought against Ashdod and took it. 2. So now you got your timing in history on when this prophecy was given. 2. At the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. Okay, now he's making the prophet do this, all right? It's a similitude of what they are going to have to do. Listen to this. 3. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and a wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia. 4. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptian prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. 5. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory. Okay, so these people, this is going back in history. This is not during Christ's time. This has to do with this casting down under Nebuchadnezzar. And this is what's going to happen. He even told Israel, don't lean on these peoples because they're going to get it from Nebuchadnezzar also. So you see how this is not just a chronological book. But anyway, last verse here, verse 6. And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, Behold, such is our expectation, whether we flee or help to be delivered from the 6. And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, Behold, such is our expectation, whether we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria, and how shall we escape? So that's what I'm saying. We had a time shift. All this earlier in 19 was basically over the last days and the Lord setting up his kingdom. And not only that, but blessing the people that are going to be cast down, the Egyptians. Now we went to a different time period where these people are going to be smacked down. In other words, Nebuchadnezzar comes right up, right there, and sets his pavilion right in front of Pharaoh. And there was a prophet up there, I believe it was Jeremiah. He told him, said, hey, King, Pharaoh, you're going to be looking at Nebuchadnezzar face to face. And that prophecy came true, and these people were taken out of their land here. In fact, it was 40 years. The Lord left it completely naked of animals and everything for 40 years. And then he brought them back, and they were no longer the military power. However, folks, the mystery religion of Egypt kept on going. The ugly spirits, the fallen angels, the familiar spirit, the charmers, that went on and helped devour the whole world to spread this mystery religion around. So that was the time shift there into 20. Hope you're enjoying the study. I'll see you in the sacred number, chapter 21, folks. See you there.